what is the rate of success of an ICT application? Or how long actually the work permit lasts? What happens if the company is not profitable after the first year? Hello everyone and welcome to this Joorney video podcast. This is your guide to Canada Work Permits ICT Program Explained. I am Marcus Bravo, Brand Ambassador at Joorney, and today we will be diving into the ICT Program. Joining me to explore this topic is Alireza Mansouri. Alireza is an RCIC IRB, which is a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. He is also the president at Ravadit Immigration Services. And we'll start with the basics, discussing what the ICT program is, who is it for, its benefits, and the main eligibility criteria. We'll guide you through the ICT application process, answer questions about the permit's duration, bringing your family to Canada, renewals, and the possibility of applying for permanent residence. Finally, we will get into the business aspect of the ICT Work Permit, including the essentials of the ICT business plan and what it should include. Stay tuned as we dive into everything you need to know about the ICT program. Let's get started. Okay, one more time, Alireza, thank you for being with us. I already give some nice words to the people listening about who you are and what you do. So we're going to jump right into the subject. So Canada Work Permits, one of the main things is the ICT. And if you're watching this and you don't know what ICT is, and let me try to pronounce it well, intra-company transfer. There you go. I always get intra-company transfer. So I'm going to let you, Alireza, to explain people what is it and who is it for.
Great. Marcos, as you know, the ICT or intra-company transfer program is designed for multinational companies to move key employees from the foreign office to the Canadian branch, affiliate, or their office in Canada. So it's for employees who hold executive managerial position or they have a specialized knowledge about the importance of the company's operation in Canada.
And when we talk about ICT, which is it's not really a visa, it's more of a work permit, right? Because it has obviously different aspects than a regular visa. But what are the main benefits of using ICT to come and work to Canada?
It has lots of benefits for the person who wants to get this work permit. First, it allows companies to transfer their essential staff without need the labor market impact assessment or LMIA, that it takes long time to get it. So it's the first thing. The second, it helps bring experienced employee to Canada quickly and opens a path for permanent residency for disqualified workers. And maybe it would be the most for the employee who want to Canada. Their family members are eligible for work permit. If they are married, a spouse can take a open work permit, and also their children can be accompanied.
All right, so that's a pretty good package if you think about it, because one of the main things is, well, I have to move my family there, so what's going to happen to them? So having that option is pretty great, in my opinion. Now, not everyone can go through the ICT. So what are the eligibility criteria for people to go through this journey?
It's a good question. To be eligible for an ICT work permit, the employee must have worked full-time for the company outside Canada for at least 1 year during the last 3 years. The job in Canada must be genuine, ongoing branch, division, or company of affiliate. The employee must hold a senior managerial role or executive in the home company or has a special knowledge position. And also the foreign and Canadian company must be connected together from the beginning. So should be like a parent and division or branch and affiliate company.
All right, so it's definitely not for interns. It's not something that you do on your first year in the company.
Correct.
When you get
at least 1 year experience.
Okay, all right, perfect. And let's just jump right into what are the step-by-steps? Like how do you start this process?
Same as other application for the person who want to come to Canada permanently or temporary. The first thing is checking eligibility. We should make sure that the employee and the company meet the criteria. Then we are collecting documents. In this kind of work permit, we need have the all necessary papers like proof of employment, company relation, and detail of job description, how this employee, what they did in the home company and what they want to do in Canada. Then we are submitting the application. Usually it's online through the Immigration Refugee Citizenship Canada portal, paying the fee. If they want to do themselves, should be sure that there are two different uh, fees. First is the offer of employment that should do from the employer portal, and second is the for work permit, biometric, and TRV fee. Then they should waiting for the process. They can check the IRCC website for current processing time and then receiving the decision. If approved, the employee gets a work permit to enter and work in Canada.
All right, it's pretty straightforward, right? It's not really super complicated. Is this something that
Correct.
the company does for you, or you do it yourself?
Uh, a part is done by myself,
Hmm.
but for
And the other,
sure for the market research, business plan, no, it's not something that I'm doing myself.
got it. Maybe that's on the company. Now, there are many kind of transferees, right? There are many kind of people who get transfer all the time, but who or what are the kind of transferees that they really fall into this ICT work permit?
Uh, This program covers three main type of transferees. First, the executive, the employee who manage or the organization or has a major part of this company outside Canada. The second is senior manager, employee who manage a department or essential function of the company. And the third one, the employee who has a specialized knowledge, employee with advanced skill or unique knowledge that is essential to the Canadian office.
All right, so it's very. I'm guessing like the very smart people in the company have a better chance to
Yeah,
get in
should
there. Like
be
the key.
managerial role or a special knowledge. Correct.
All right, understood. Now, in this work permit, or actually for the work permit, how long are you allowed to be there, or how long actually the work permit lasts?
It depends. The initial duration of ICT work permit is typically up to 3 years. But for a startup company, they want to start their branch in Canada, it may granted for just 1 year. But extension can be requested with maximum total of 7 years for executive and senior manager, and for the person for with the special knowledge up to 5 years.
Okay. And you talked before about your wife and your children. They can even get a job. I mean, it's all sort of part of the whole system. That is it just a given as a package of the work permit that everybody can come with you, or do you have to do something extra about
It's usually the good part of the this ICT work permit, because uh, if especially when you are married or have children, it's hard to be apart for a long time. So the spouse can get an open work permit, come to Canada at the same time, and if they have children under 22, they can come also with the parents, and if they are under 18, they can have a study in Canada free of charge because their parents have work permit.
That's a really great benefit, I must say. Especially with the
I
prices
agree.
of education these days, having
I
something like that
agreed.
is great. Alireza, you mentioned before that you can renew the ICT, and it's not a huge sort of process. But how can you renew it? What do you have to do to renew that? Is what's involved in it?
The first thing that applicant should be had in my mind that they need to apply for renewing the work permit before the actual one is expired. So they need to include update document that shows the Company continually need the transfer employee, and the role of employee should be ongoing relation between the foreign and the Canadian company. And for sure, the company should be a genuine work inside Canada.
And something that happened, I remember we talked about some American visas that you have very limited options to move around. With the ICT, um, can you work and live anywhere in Canada, or you have a specific location or specific region?
Well, when the work permit issued, the work permit holder generally required to work at the location specified in their application. But before applying, the company can decide in which part of Canada they want to establish their branch. So uh, usually they can work anywhere in Canada, but they should decide before application.
Okay.
And when they come to Canada, they should work on that place and leave any place or city nearby the company.
Okay, so it's not something that you just go there and pick a house anywhere you want. You have to make a decision
It's,
before.
it's correct.
Uh, now, and this is the key question for many work permits. With the ICT, are you allowed to apply for permanent residency?
Well, the general answer is yes. ICT Work Permit holder can apply for permanent residency in Canada. They can be qualified under various immigration programs such as express entry and like federal skilled worker, Canadian experience class, and some provincial nominee program (PNP).
And changing a little bit of the subject, this is also something that we've seen around. Can the company that's transferring this person to Canada, can they engage in this branch in a different sort of business? I don't know, like if you're doing agriculture and somewhere else, but then you move this person to do IT in Canada. Is that possible, or they need to stick to the same area of business?
Well, the Canadian company generally should engage in a similar business activity as a foreign company to maintain eligibility. Significantly different might affect the eligibility of this kind of work permit because they should mention why they need this branch. If they want to change the topic, it had difficulty for the eligibility of the work permit.
And if the company, let's say they open the branch with this new person there, they using the work permit, the ICT, what happens if the company is not profitable after the first year? Let's say like they try all this, they invested some money, but it's just not working. What happened then?
It's another good question, Marcus. If the Canadian company is not profitable in the first year, it doesn't automatically disqualify the work permit. But the company must show ongoing business activity and growth potential. In this part, it shows that having the clear business plan and progress report are important for renewing the application.
And obviously, I mean, business plans are always sort of not only for the companies, but for these applications, they're always a key piece. But something that also happened many times is, let's say the company is not working right. Maybe this person is there foreseeing that things are going to go wrong.
Mhm.
Can this person get a job in another company in Canada?
They cannot work for another employer, but if happens and they want to change the work because it's a closed work permit and they usually must work for the employer that written in their work permit. If they want to change the position, they need to apply for another work permit and having another job offer to apply.
Now, can they do that there? So you're already in Canada with an ICT work permit. Can you apply for a visa to work for a different company?
Yes, they can. They can, but as I mentioned, they need another job offer and another application. With the actual work permit, they cannot work for another company.
And now I want to go back a little bit to something that you mentioned before.
Mhm.
Obviously, these applications, the more paperwork you add to them, the better chances you have. The more information, the better chances you have. So, with that being said, business plans, right? You're explaining the immigration officers what you're doing. Is it mandatory to include a business plan in this application?
Legally, no, a business plan is not always mandatory, but highly recommended. And personally, based on my experience, also I recommend that don't apply for any ICT work permit without having a business plan, especially for new operation in Canada, because it helps show the uh, viability and strategic goal that the Canadian office has.
And in this business plan that you're recommending to include, what are the key things that we should be adding to them?
Okay, if I want to mention the ICT business plan must include firstly the executive summary, an overview of business and the objectives of business in Canada. Description of company is important. We need the detail about the foreign and the Canadian company, when and where registered, what is their duty, what they are doing. Market analysis also is important. We need to have research on the Canadian market and competition in this field. Organization structure also important. We need information about the management team and key staff because it's the ICT intra-company transfer and the product and service line. We need description of product or service they are offering inside Canada and outside, and also marketing and sales strategy. What is their plan to attract or retain customers? Also, financial projection, revenue, expenses, and the financial statement, and also the implementation of timeline, key milestone, and timeline for the business development, especially for the first year, if they want to renew their work permit after the first year.
So it's a pretty complete business plan. That I mean, the more you add, basically, the better chances you have.
Yeah, correct. I believe business plan and market research is a key of success in this process.
Now, talking about success, you've been doing this for many years. I'm not calling you old or anything. I'm just saying you've been doing it for many years. You've seen different rates of success with different kinds of applications. So, what is the rate of success of an ICT application in general?
And the success rate for ICT application is generally high, especially when the application is well prepared and meets all criteria. And having the right and truthful documentation significantly improves the chance of approval.
And for the people listening right now, if ICT is either is or is going to become part of the journey soon, from your experience, what would you suggest uh, to do? Like, basically, like, what will be the main suggestion for you to an ICT applicant to, like, look, keep an eye on this or do this or that?
Mhm. For the person considering the ICT program to move to Canada, first of all, I'm suggesting ensure you meet all eligibility criteria. Prepare a complete and truthful application with all necessary documents. And consider professional help for immigration experts if needed, and you are not knowing all the immigration laws in Canada. Have a clear and detailed business plan for your Canadian operation and be ready for potential challenges and demonstrate how the transfer benefits your company's global goals.
Sort of a little bit out of our focus question, like how does it take from beginning to end for this application to work? A rough approximate.
Uh, I cannot mention any specific time because it depends on the country of origin, but they can check online. For example, for some country, they don't need the Canadian visa. They can apply for work permit at port of entry. So it doesn't have any limitation. But for the country that they need visa, processing time is around a month up to 6 or sometimes 7 months.
That's not bad, considering that some visas even take some processes I've seen that take years. So that's
I
actually pretty
agree.
good.
I
So,
agree.
Alireza, well, thank you for this overview of the ICT program. I know we're going to be talking more about Canadian work permits and visas in the future, and I think the advice that that you've given right now is great for the people who are thinking of using this path to get into work and live in Canada. So one more time, thanks to you, thanks to everybody listening, and we will definitely leave all the information needed in the description of this video. Also, contacts to Alireza, because I recommend you to work with him if you want to get in there and get this done. Alireza, thank you so much for being with us.
And thank you very much, Marcus. It was
And
great to be with you.
thank you. And for you at home again, thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to ring the notification bells for being always up to date with everything regarding visas, immigrations, and business plans for make your journey happen. Thank you again. See you next time.
Thank you.